In today's tech review, I'm going over the Anker ROAV C1 dash cam, all its features, and I'll also be sharing with you some sample footage from both during the day and at night. Hey guys, what's up? This is Eric of Immersive Tech TV, and on this channel we review awesome tech, gadgets, apps, and accessories. So if you're new here today, definitely feel free to subscribe to catch future videos just like this one. And real quick guys, before I start today's review, I just want to say a quick thank you to Anker for sending me this dash cam to review. Anker is a company that specializes in all kinds of cool charging accessories, as well as cool tech gadgets just like this one. So if you guys would like to learn more about this particular dash cam model after the video, I'll link down below where you can find it, as well as the actual microSD card I recommend for it. So for starters, I'm first going to go over all the specs and features of this dash cam, and then after that I'll show you some sample footage from both during the day and at night. The Anker C1 dash cam is a very compact yet powerful dash cam that clearly captures the road as you drive. It records video in full 1080p HD, and its advanced Sony Cmos sensor enables recording at 30 frames per second. And with its wide dynamic range, it auto-adjusts for light conditions to help deliver the most ideal exposure. In addition, its built-in Nighthawk vision technology allows you to even continue capturing video into the night. Now, in total, it does have 3 different video recording options. You can set it to either record in 720p at 30 frames per second, 720p at 60 frames per second, or 1080p at 30 frames per second. You can also easily access your video recordings at any time. With its built-in Wi-Fi, you can wirelessly manage your recordings from the app without the need for cables, laptops, or card swapping. Simply use the ROAV app to download, manage, and view the dashcam's recordings directly on your smartphone. And in terms of device compatibility, the ROAV app is compatible with devices with Android 5.0 and up, and devices with iOS 9.0 and up. Although it looks small in size, the Anker C1 dashcam really does provide an expansive view of the road around you. Its wide-angle lens can simultaneously record 4 lanes of traffic. With 6 internal lens elements and optimized imaging technology, it provides a full view of the road ahead and not just the car in front of you. But one of my favorite design features with this dashcam is that it's very discreet and not overly noticeable. When you think about it, you really don't want a large object in your way while driving. So the C1 dashcam's more compact design really does make a huge difference when compared to some larger dashcams out there. The dashcam also comes with a 2-port car charger, which powers the device so you never have to worry about recharging it. Another cool feature with this dashcam is that it also has a motion-activated parking mode, and if this mode is enabled, its built-in gravity sensor activates the camera if your parked car is ever bumped or moved to automatically record hit and runs. Now, it is important to note that this is not a motion sensor. Again, the parking mode only turns on when the dashcam detects a shift in gravity. And because this parking mode relies on the dashcam's internal battery, it will only record 30 seconds of footage once a disturbance in gravity is detected. Lastly, the C1 dashcam does have extreme temperature resistance. When plugged in, it can operate in temperatures between 19 degrees Fahrenheit and 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Now to operate this dashcam, it does require the use of a Class 10 microSD card, which is not included with the dashcam. Now, they do recommend either a Samsung or a SanDisk 32GB Class 10 microSD card, but the dashcam also does support up to 128GB microSD card as well. Again, they do recommend getting Class 10 for most optimal performance. If you're kind of confused on which card is right for you, I personally picked up a Samsung Evo 64GB Class 10 microSD card. Again, they have them ranging from 32GB all the way up to 128. I found 64GB to be just right for me, so if you're kind of confused, I'll link it down below if you want to learn more about it. But really, you're fine with either a Samsung or a SanDisk microSD card. Just make sure that it's Class 10. So in terms of its memory storage, this dashcam actually does have automatic loop recording. So what that means is, once your microSD card fills up with video, it's going to then automatically loop over and record new video on the oldest video footage stored on the microSD card. So I hope that makes sense. And if you're wondering how much video can actually be stored on the microSD card before it automatically loops over, I'll tell you what I found from my testing. From my experience, on a 64GB Class 10 microSD card, which is the one that I'm using, I found that it recorded about 10.5 hours roughly when recording at 1080p at 30 frames per second before it automatically looped over, and I also found that it recorded about 12 hours of video footage at 720p and 60 frames per second before it automatically looped over. So that's with the 64GB Class 10 microSD card. So you can imagine that a 32GB microSD card would capture roughly about half of that, and a 128GB microSD card would capture roughly about double that. I'm now going to show you some sample video footage I caught on the dashcam from both during the day and at night, so you can compare how it records in both settings. And lastly guys, I just want to briefly cover what you actually get inside the box with this dash cam. So obviously you do get the actual C1 dash cam itself. They do also include the dual port card charger like I talked about earlier, and of course the micro USB cable to connect your dash cam to the card charger. Next up, they do include two 3M adhesive base plates to mount the dash cam onto your window. They do also include the trim removal tool, and lastly the user manual. And that pretty much sums up today's review on the Anker C1 dash cam. If you guys found today's video helpful, definitely feel free to subscribe to catch new weekly videos on more awesome tech, gadgets, apps, and accessories. And again, if you would like to learn more about this particular dash cam model, I'll link down below where you can find it online. And lastly guys, if you have any questions about this dash cam, feel free to leave your questions down below, and as always, I'm happy to connect with you guys down there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.